Hey guys, it's Joel from guntoter.org. Welcome back to the channel. Before we get started with today's video, quick reminder down in the corner, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and if you could, please visit our Patreon page to help support us as we buy all this gear. No one donates any of this stuff to us. We buy it so that you know that you're getting a bias-free review, and we're not getting endorsed and being given free stuff or even paid for reviews. So this is all on us. And if you could help us out with that, that would be awesome. Okay, today, continuing our discussions that we've had about gear theory, why we wear what we wear, how we wear what we wear, we're going to talk about radio pouches. Obviously, shoot, move, communicate, right? So this is in the communicate part of this. There's communicating, in your squad between two people, and then there's communicating up to hire if you need to, if you're doing military or police type work, or even if you're doing like a disaster response. You've got a hierarchy that you've got to pass information to on the conditions on the ground. So as with any piece of gear, when you're figuring out like, hey, where am I going to put this? You got to think about how often do I need to access it and where can I put it so that I can access it when needed. Now for me, I like to wear my pouch, my radio pouch on the front, on my non-dominant side, right outside my placard where I can get to it. Now, I know, I think it was in like the 80s and 90s, it was a big deal. Everyone wore their radio pouches on their back. The obvious issue, if you wear your radio pouch on the back, is access, right? I'm not a super flexible person. If I put that thing in the middle of my back, I'm gonna be sitting here playing some sort of weird game. It's gonna get a little crazy. If I can't access it, that means if I need to change channel, even change the volume, do something really simple, I got to call a buddy over and have them fiddle with it. So now, instead of me just being able to take care of my issue myself, now there's two of us dealing with one radio, trying to get this thing functional. So it's just easier. Take it off your back, put it on your front, get it somewhere where you can get to it. Like I said, I like it here. For me, on my left side, I can look down, I can manipulate it, I can work the volume. If I need to, I can pop it out, I can work the keypad, so on. I mean, it's just very comfortable there for me. I like it on the non-dominant side because I like to keep my dominant side as slick as I can, just for maneuverability. So that's why it's on the non-dominant side. Typically speaking, there's two types of radio pouches. There's basically a sheath type pouch, which is just kind of the pouch you just drop your radio into, and there's a flip open type of pouch, which is what I've got here. So this is actually a tactical tailor pouch. As you can see, it leans out. I can access what I need to access, and then I can put it back up. The reason I have the tactical tailor one on here is the upcoming series where I'm going to talk about the 5 different radio pouches. This is the first one I'm going to do. That's why it's on here. It happens to be the first one I'm testing. But some pros and cons of the sheath type versus the flip open. So if you're running a military radio or say a police type radio, like a Motorola APX, there's a lot of stuff you can do from the top of the radio, right? So you can turn it on, you can adjust the volume, you can hit the panic button, you can adjust the channel, lots of things right there from the top. So I can get a sheath type pouch, I can tuck it back in here. Some carriers actually come with integral pouches. You can have your radio inside your cummerbund. The nice thing about that is it keeps things a lot more slick, right? You don't have the pouch hanging off on the outside. It's all nice and slick. And with the military radios, having those buttons on the top, you can do, I would say, the vast majority of the adjustments that you need to do just by looking down and adjusting without ever having to pull it out of the pouch. The downside is for a lot of civilian radios, especially say the Baofeng series, you can't really do a whole lot from the top of a Baofeng other than turn like the flashlight on and blind yourself. You can turn it on and you can adjust the volume, and that's about all you can do from the top of a Baofeng. To even change out the channel, you have to access the front keypad. Now, if you have a sheath type radio, every time you have to access the keypad, you got to pull the thing out, mess with it, jam it back in there. And it's extra time. And also if something were to come up, say you've got it out in your hand, something comes up, you get distracted, you have to turn and address something. If you let go of that radio, well, you let go of the radio's gone, right? Unless you've got it secured somehow. Maybe If you're lucky, one of the cords you've got wrapped around is going to keep it where it needs to be. But it's much easier to lose a radio if you have to constantly take it in and out of a pouch to deal with it. The flip open pouches, on the other hand, I can sit here, I can push all the buttons, and if I were to let go of this, it's still at least somewhat retained, right? A lot of them have different types of internal retentions. If nothing else, there's at least the friction retention. Even on this one, even if this button is gone, I've still got Velcro retention, right? So there's just a lot more retention. It's a lot safer, if you want to use that term, to use a flip open if you're dealing with something where you have to access the front panel a lot. That's why I tend to prefer your flip open versus your sheath. Like I said, though, the sheath, much easier to kind of keep streamlined. The other positive to a sheath is a lot of the flip opens, they're tailored to kind of fit a specific radio, especially one that we're going to review later is actually a custom molded Kydex sheath or a flip open. And it's tailored to fit a specific radio, obviously, because it's custom molded. If you're in the beginning of your kind of communications decision making and you don't know what radio you're going to end up with, you're trying a bunch of different ones, or even if you're working in an area where you need to switch out radios, you know, depending on if you borrow radios regularly, then honestly, an externally mounted sheath type pouch may work better for you because they typically tend to fit more radios. Like if you get the Spectre one that we're going to talk about, or I've got a buddy who's got the Condor one. It's designed to fit a bunch of different radio types. If that's the situation you're in, then yes, a sheath type might work for you. But if you get to the point where you've kind of narrowed it down, you're going to buy a specific radio, and then you're going to buy the accessories to go with that radio, kind of like with buying a gun. You know, I'm going to use this gun, I'm going to get the accessories to go with it, I'm going to get all the belt accessories, the holster, and so on. Kind of the same way with the radio. Once you've decided on the radio you're going to get, you start to get the accessories. At that point, you know, if it's the type of radio that you need to access that front panel frequently, I would say start looking at a flip open, because in my opinion, once again, I think that a flip open will serve you better in the long run with these civilian type radios versus, of course, the military, like I said earlier, where you can do a lot of this stuff from the top. So I did the bottom line up front, so I'll do the bottom line on the back side. Access. Do I need to access it? How much do I need to access it? Where can I put it so I can access it? Radios. As with any other pouch, those are your thoughts. Where do I put it so I can get to it? We do have a series coming up. I'm going to be looking at 5 different radio pouches. I'm going to 1 sheath and 4 flip opens from various different companies. They are going to be tailored around the Baofeng UV-5R / BF-F8HP. You really need to take a couple of those letters or numerals off. But those are the radios that they're going to be centered around. And hopefully we'll have some good discussions and get some good knowledge out there. So I hope this has been useful for you. If it has, like I said at the beginning of the video, like, subscribe, notifications. If you can support us via our Patreon page, that really would be great. But I know, you know, the pandemic's continuing, the lockdowns are continuing. I get it. If you can't support monetarily, we would greatly appreciate your shares, your comments. If you have a comment, if you think that, you know, this is the greatest thing ever, if you have a question, if you think this is the dumbest thing ever, fine, leave a comment. I don't mind critiques, downvotes, but I really would like for you to actually give me your viewpoint, right? If you think I'm all screwed up, well, tell me why, because then we can have a discussion and everybody can learn. So it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. We talk positive. Anyway, thanks guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again next time when we start our series on radio pouches.